esa hija del general.
We get out of here, it's a miracle.
How can we leave?
We gotta put...
Let's go.
I belong here.
Fat chance.
We're out of there.
We need money here!
Go get it.
Why? You do it to us!
Let him go. You deserved it.
Shouldn't have put it.
Ik stel wat een flight, Louis. You know what I do for a living.
Homie. For your family, right?
Why me?
The Georges! Good.
Caliente, mira.
Nobody's gonna hurt you. All right, get him off.
10 minutes. Let's go.
¡Déjalo!
Kevlar vest. You're inside. No, you're a lucky man.
Right. Seriously? Are you a real tough guy?
You give me the right answer. Wrong answer, you will die a damn slow death.
Breathe. Loose your hairdresser.
Everything bad that has happened, you take it all and go.
I'm not a puppet in a hat.
Tú eres
Now!
Throw down your weapon.
Shit's getting old. Para matar a este país. Perdóname.
What's he saying?
Said will kill this
Thunder! The money!
Blow it! Keep moving!
Put a bullet through her eye. Aries, we're both dead inside.
Hey guys, today we're diving deep into the explosive world of The Expendables, a movie that essentially asked, what if we put every action hero from the 80s and 90s in one room and just let them break stuff? It's a symphony of testosterone, explosions, and enough muscles to make a bodybuilder blush. We kick things off with our titular team, led by the perpetually stoic Barney Ross, played by Sylvester Stallone, on a mission to rescue hostages from Somali pirates. It's a baptism by fire, literally, as bullets fly and pirates learn the hard way not to mess with a crew who treats international waters like their personal playground. If you had a good time with this, a like and a subscribe is a free way to help me keep making more. The opening mission quickly establishes the team dynamic, or rather, the dysfunctional dynamic, particularly with Gunnar Jensen. This guy is a walking powder keg, looking for any excuse to light his own fuse. Amidst the gunfire and the frantic screams of pirates, Gunnar decides it's a prime time to go rogue, taking a hostage and aiming his massive weapon at Barney. It's the kind of workplace drama that makes your Monday morning meeting seem like a picnic. Lee Christmas, ever the agile knife expert, steps in with a perfectly aimed throw, severing Gunner's robe, a clear warning shot, if you will, that there are lines even an expendable doesn't cross. The pirates are just collateral damage in their internal squabble, poor souls. The crackle of their radio confirms the rescue, but the tension between the crew is thicker than a cheap action movie plot.
Leave it.
We want our money! No guns!
Fat chance.
You're out of there.
Bring the money here!
Go get it. Why? You do it to us! Let him go. You deserved it.
Back home, or at least their version of it, we find Barney in Toole's tattoo parlor and bar. Toole, played by the legendary Mickey Rourke, is the team's philosophical conscience and a master of ink, a man who's seen too much to be surprised by anything. He drops some heavy wisdom on Barney, noting how their line of work, filled with constant threats and betrayal, makes them ghosts. It's a moment of surprising introspection amidst the usual action fare. Soon after, Barney receives a new, cryptic assignment. He meets the mysterious Mr. Church, played by Bruce Willis, in an actual church, because subtlety is for rom-coms. Church, a shadowy figure with equally shadowy employers, offers a tidy sum to assassinate a rogue general in the fictional South American island nation of Vilena. The catch? It's a job even the CIA won't touch. Barney, ever the professional, brings his rival, Trench Mouser, portrayed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, along for the initial briefing. The tension between the three action titans is palpable, practically setting off sparks. It's less a meeting, more a staring contest with extremely high stakes, with the mission details etched into his brain. Barney takes Lee Christmas, his trusted knife-wielding second-in-command, on a recon mission to Vilena. They fly in on Barney's sleek seaplane, the kind of vehicle that screams we mean business. But we also like a good view as they parachute into the dense, humid jungle. The sounds of unseen creatures and the buzz of insects replace the roar of the plane. They infiltrate the island, moving through the thick foliage with the silent efficiency of seasoned predators. They observe General Garza's heavily fortified compound, a testament to his iron grip on the island. The visuals are gritty, showing the oppressive poverty and military presence that defines Vilena. During their surveillance, they encounter Sandra, a local woman leading a resistance movement against Garza. She's tough, resourceful, and clearly has a story. Her fierce determination catches Barney's eye, sparking a flicker of something beyond just business. Sandra is no damsel in distress. She's a fierce resistance fighter, carrying the weight of her people's suffering. She quickly explains to Barney and Lee that General Garza isn't the real puppet master. Oh no, that distinction belongs to James Munroe, a rogue CIA agent who's using Garza as a front to exploit Vilena for drug production. It's the classic evil American pulling the strings trope, and it's always effective. Just as this inconvenient truth sinks in, Munroe's forces, led by the imposing Payne, ambush our heroes. Bullets start ripping through the jungle canopy, the air thick with the smell of gunpowder. Barney and Lee, in a display of perfectly synchronized chaos, fight their way out, creating a flurry of hand-to-hand combat and precision shots. The rapid-fire exchange of blows and the metallic clack of weapons against bone highlight their brutal efficiency. Sandra, equally capable, battles alongside them, proving she's more than just a source of information. The realization that they're facing a former intelligence agent, rather than a simple despot, complicates everything. The jungle erupts into a deadly ballet of evasion and gunfire as Munroe's soldiers relentlessly pursue Barney and Lee. The sounds of explosions echo, followed by the wet thud of bodies hitting the jungle floor. Our heroes, moving with incredible agility despite their years, leap and roll through the dense undergrowth, dodging bullets that rip through leaves around them. It's a high-octane scramble back to their seaplane, with every step a race against certain death. During the frantic escape, Barney tries to convince Sandra to come with them to save herself from the inevitable onslaught. But Sandra, a woman of unwavering conviction, refuses. Her people are on the island, and she won't abandon them. Her fierce gaze meets Barney's, a silent understanding passing between them. He makes a promise. He will return for her. With one final exchange of gunfire to cover their retreat, they board the seaplane, the engines roaring to life just as enemy forces reach the water's edge. The plane skims across the water, a desperate search towards freedom, leaving the sounds of continued battle behind, back on the relative safety of their ship, a stark contrast to the volatile jungle. Barney finds himself wrestling with a very rare beast for an expendable, a conscience. The initial simple mission of assassinating a general has morphed into a tangled web of drug trafficking, CIA corruption, and the plight of innocent people. Sandra's unwavering resolve has clearly struck a chord, reminding Barney that some battles aren't just about the paycheck. He paces the deck, the rhythmic slap of waves against the hull doing little to soothe his internal turmoil. The weight of his promise to Sandra and the moral imperative to right a wrong clashes with the mercenary code of take the money and run. It's an unusual sight to see such a hardened killer contemplate the ethics of a situation. The rest of the team notices his brooding silence, understanding that their leader is facing a difficult choice. It's a quiet moment, but powerfully conveys the shift in Barney's character. From purely mercenary to something more akin to a reluctant hero, the emotional stakes rise when Barney again confides in Tool. Tool, with a weary sigh, shares a deeply personal and tragic story, revealing a faded tattoo that marks a brutal memory. He recounts how he tortured a woman during a mission, only to realize too late she was innocent, leading to her suicide. The story is raw, a chilling reminder of the heavy price paid in their line of work, and it hits Barney hard, reinforcing the consequences of inaction and blindly following orders. This flashback to Tool's past isn't just filler. It's a gut punch, adding a layer of moral complexity to their hardened exteriors. Meanwhile, Lee Christmas, ever the ladies' man, faces his own personal drama. He discovers his girlfriend, Lacey, has been cheating on him with a brute of a man. The betrayal cuts deep, leading to a furious confrontation. The ensuing brawl is quick and brutal, a blur of lightning-fast knife work and devastating hand-to-hand combat, culminating in Lee leaving Lacey and her bruised new boyfriend in a wrecked apartment. It's a moment of explosive personal catharsis, showing that even the most stoic mercenaries have very real, very messy emotions, while Barney wrestles with his soul. Gunnar Jensen has fully embraced his inner villain. He's now actively working with Munroe and Payne, reveling in the brutality. We see him participating in the horrific torture of Vilena locals, the screams of the innocent cutting through the tropical air. His descent is complete. He's not just erratic anymore, he's genuinely malicious, finding a twisted sense of belonging among Munroe's thugs. The visual of Gunnar, usually a chaotic but somewhat contained force, now openly committing atrocities, serves as a grim contrast to the Expendables code, however flawed it may be. It solidifies his status as a legitimate threat, not just a nuisance. This scene highlights the moral abyss into which some mercenaries can fall, driven by greed or simply a love for violence. It also raises the stakes for the team, as they now have to confront a former comrade who knows their tactics and weaknesses. The clicking sound of Gunnar's knife being casually flicked open and closed during a chilling interrogation underscores his newfound sadism. Barney, his moral compass now firmly pointing towards do the right thing, gathers his disparate crew. He lays out his decision. They're going back to Vilena, not just for the money, but to rescue Sandra and dismantle Munroe's operation. This isn't just a mission, it's a crusade, a personal vendetta against injustice, even if he wouldn't admit it in so many words. The team, a motley collection of hardened fighters, responds with characteristic grunts and knowing nods. There's Yin Yang, the agile martial artist whose fists are faster than lightning, Toll Road. The demolition expert who probably dreams in explosions, Hail Caesar, the heavy weapons specialist whose gun looks like it could fell a small building, and, of course, Lee Christmas, ever loyal and lethal. They begin their preparations, a flurry of weapons checks, ammo loading, and strategic discussions, the metallic shink of knives being sharpened, the heavy clunk of grenades being armed. And the low hum of their ship's engines fill the air. The mood is grim, focused, and utterly determined. This isn't a job, it's personal, and when it's personal for the Expendables, things tend to get very, very loud. The return to Vilena is anything but subtle. Our heroes launch a full-scale aerial assault, their customized seaplane transforming into a flying fortress. Hail Caesar unleashes a torrent of lead from a massive, mounted machine gun, the rat-a-tat-tat ripping through the air as explosions bloom across the enemy positions below. It's like a fireworks display, if fireworks were designed by a heavily armed pyromaniac. The plane skims just above the treetops, a terrifying harbinger of destruction. The ground erupts as they make their daring beach landing, enemy soldiers scrambling to repel the assault. The moment their boots hit the sand, the Expendables are in motion. A perfectly oiled machine of destruction. Guns blaze, fists fly, and the sand turns into a battleground. Lee Christmas, with his incredible knife skills, is a blur of motion, dispatching enemies with surgical precision. Toll Road plants explosives with mischievous glee, turning solid structures into plumes of smoke and debris with a satisfying boom. The sheer audacity of their attack is a testament to their reputation and their complete lack of concern for subtlety. Amidst the swirling chaos of explosions and gunfire, Barney finally corners Gunner. The two former comrades engage in a brutal, no-holds-barred fistfight amidst the burning wreckage of a building. The thud of punches connecting with flesh, the grunts of exertion, and the shattering of debris create a visceral soundscape. It's a personal grudge match, years of simmering tension boiling over into a raw display of strength and skill. Barney, always the pragmatist, gets the upper hand. But instead of delivering a killing blow, he offers Gunner a choice: redemption or permanent expulsion. In a surprising turn, Gunner chooses to rejoin the team, proving that even the most volatile members of this mercenary family can still find their way home. It's a moment of surprising grace in a movie built on explosions. Gunner, now back on the right side, immediately turns his considerable firepower on Munroe's men, making up for lost time with an enthusiastic display of violence that almost feels like a cathartic release for him. With Gunner back in the fold, the Expendables push deeper into Garza's compound. The interior is a labyrinth of concrete and steel, each room a potential ambush point. The clang of spent shell casings hitting the floor, the shouts of commands, and the rapid pop-pop-pop of automatic weapons create a symphony of destruction. Yin Yang, with his acrobatic martial arts, becomes a whirlwind of fists and feet, taking down multiple enemies with stunning speed and precision. Toll Road strategically places charges, blowing open pathways with concussive force, the air vibrating with each detonation. Hail Caesar provides heavy cover fire, his monstrous weapon chewing through walls and enemies alike. It's a masterclass in coordinated assault, each member playing their part in a deadly, efficient dance. The enemy soldiers, despite their numbers, are no match for the sheer force and tactical prowess of this seasoned team. They move like a predatory unit, clearing rooms with ruthless efficiency, their objective unwavering: reach Garza, find Munroe, and save Sandra. The Expendables finally corner General Garza, the supposed dictator, only to witness Munroe's true colors in a brutal display of treachery. Munroe, seeing Garza as a liability now that the jig is up, cold-bloodedly executes him, the sharp crack of the pistol echoing through the room. It's a shocking moment that solidifies Munroe's villainy, proving he's willing to eliminate anyone who stands in his way. As this happens, Payne, Munroe's formidable henchman, attempts to seize Sandra, sparking a frantic struggle. The team, momentarily stunned by Garza's sudden death, snaps back into action, focusing all their efforts on protecting her. The desperate scramble to keep Sandra safe becomes the immediate priority, transforming the mission from a simple rescue into a desperate defense. The frantic sounds of close-quarters combat, the desperate pleas of Sandra, and the snarling determination of Pain fill the air, creating a truly tense scene where every second counts. The battle for Vilena reaches its thunderous climax, escalating into an all-out war zone. Explosions rock the compound, sending debris flying and causing the ground to tremble. It's a symphony of chaos with the thump-thump-thump of grenades, the incessant crackle of automatic weapons, and the shriek of collapsing structures. The Expendables, now fighting as one unstoppable unit, unleash their full arsenal. Hail Caesar's heavy machine gun mows down dozens of soldiers, painting the walls with a spray of destruction. Toll Road, with a manic grin, triggers a chain reaction of strategically placed C4, transforming the compound into a collapsing inferno. Amidst the chaos, Gunner and Pain engage in a brutal, bone-crunching fight, a clash of two monstrous figures. Every punch carries the weight of his sledgehammer, every block a painful thud. Their battle is a primal scream of violence, culminating in a vicious struggle where Gunner finally avenges his earlier humiliation with a decisive, painful blow. The air is thick with smoke, the metallic tang of blood, and the smell of spent gunpowder, truly feeling like the end of the world for Munroe's remaining forces. The primary duels unfold amidst the carnage. Barney Ross finally comes face to face with James Munroe, the architect of Vilena's misery. Their battle is raw and personal, a clash of wills and brute force. Munroe, despite his slick demeanor, proves to be a surprisingly capable fighter, fueled by desperation, the grunts of effort. The swish of missed punches and the slam of bodies against crumbling walls punctuate their fight. Meanwhile, Lee Christmas, ever the agile assassin, takes on the hulking brute Pain. This is not a fair fight in terms of size, but Lee makes up for it with lightning speed and his unparalleled knife skills, the glint of his blades, the rapid shink as he dodges and weaves, and the deep thud of Pain's blows trying to connect, create an electrifying spectacle. Lee uses his environment, his agility, and a cunning strategy to overcome Pain's raw power, delivering swift, decisive strikes that gradually wear down the larger man. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes brains and speed trump pure brawn. Even in a movie starring Sylvester Stallone, as the compound teeters on the brink of total collapse, Sandra makes her desperate escape, scrambling towards the waiting extraction helicopter, the blades thwump in the dusty air. A beacon of hope amidst the wreckage, she narrowly avoids falling debris and bursts of gunfire, the frantic pace intensifying the sense of danger. Finally, Barney, after a brutal, prolonged struggle, outsmarts Munroe. With a swift movement, he shoves a grenade into Munroe's vest, sending the rogue agent flying into a fiery explosion. The satisfying kaboom of the blast rips through the air, sending a wave of concussive force through the entire structure. Munroe, the architect of so much suffering, meets a spectacularly fiery end, leaving no doubt about his demise. The compound, now a crumbling ruin, breathes its last. Falling apart in a dramatic cascade of steel and concrete, Barney makes his own daring escape, running and leaping through the collapsing structure, just barely making it out before the whole place comes down around him. A true action hero exit. With the mission accomplished and Munroe a very crispy memory, the Expendables regroup on their helicopter, the hum of the rotors a welcome sound after the cacophony of battle. They fly away from the now devastated compound, leaving behind a trail of smoke and justice. Barney, true to his word, ensures Sandra's safety. He offers her the remaining mission payment, a symbolic gesture of redemption and a start to rebuilding her shattered life and nation. It's a surprisingly tender moment from the gruff mercenary. Sandra, with a quiet strength, accepts, understanding the gravity of his offer. The team, a mix of grim satisfaction and weary relief, watches the island recede. They are, after all, mercenaries, but even they have their own peculiar code of honor. The finality of the destruction, contrasted with the hope for Vilena's future, leaves a lingering thought. Even in a world of violence, there can still be glimmers of hope and decency. The gentle wind whipping through the helicopter blades as they depart signifies a temporary peace. Back in the States, or at least a place that looks suspiciously like a well-stocked American dive bar, the Expendables gather at Tool's place. It's a moment of well-earned celebration, complete with drinks, banter, and a sense of camaraderie that only comes from staring death in the face together. Tool, always the artist, proudly displays a newly inked tattoo, a meaningful piece of art that symbolizes their shared journey and the sacrifices made. It's a surprisingly poignant detail, a permanent mark of their transient lives. Amidst the revelry, Toll Road, the demolition expert, whose hobbies usually involve making things go boom, offers a surprisingly thoughtful observation. He muses on the nature of their work, the lines they cross, and the consequences of their actions. It's an unexpected moment of philosophical depth from a character typically associated with brute force, reminding us that even the most hardened individuals carry complex inner lives. The clinking of glasses and bursts of laughter underscore the fragile peace they've found, a brief respite before the next inevitable mission. The sounds of their joyful, if slightly tipsy, conversation fills the air. As the night winds down, the team climbs onto their motorcycles, the low rumble of engines a familiar comfort. They share a final exchange of smiles and knowing glances, a silent testament to the unbreakable bonds forged in the fires of battle. It's a poignant image of warriors finding peace, even if fleeting, in each other's company. The road ahead is uncertain, but for now, they ride into the night, united and ready for whatever comes next. And that's The Expendables for you. A movie that proves that sometimes, all you need is a good old-fashioned explosion, a handful of legendary action heroes, and a sprinkle of heart to make a truly unforgettable ride. It's a love letter to a bygone era of action cinema, unapologetically loud, gloriously violent, and surprisingly charming. It reminds us that even heroes who seem like relics still have plenty of fight left in them. So remember to hug your loved ones, maybe don't try to stop a speeding bullet with your chest, and always remember to aim for the bad guys. Until next time, stay awesome. Today we're diving headfirst into the explosive world of The Expendables, a movie that basically answers the question, what if all your favorite action heroes had a slightly awkward, but incredibly deadly, family reunion? We kick things off with our titular crew of grizzled, muscle-bound marks, led by the stoic Barney Ross, making a grand entrance in Somalia. Their mission? To rescue a boatload of hostages from some seriously unpleasant pirates. The crackle of automatic gunfire immediately fills the air as they hit the ground, a symphony of destruction announcing their arrival. It's less of a subtle infiltration and more of a let's kick in the front door with a tank kind of operation. The pirates, predictably, are not having a great day as Barney, Lee Christmas, and the gang dispense some rather extreme crowd control. Before you head off, if you're enjoying the kind of content I make, please consider liking and subscribing. No pressure, but it truly helps me keep the action coming. As the bullets fly and explosions punctuate the otherwise quiet desert night. We get our first taste of Gunnar Jensen, who's less team player and more loose cannon with a grenade launcher. While the team is trying to get the hostages out, Gunnar decides it's prime time for a bit of solo sadism, threatening to execute a tied-up pirate for kicks. You can practically hear the collective sigh from the rest of the crew. Barney, ever the reluctant babysitter, has to step in, a visible ripple of frustration crossing his face. It's a classic we're saving lives, not creating more paperwork moment. The ensuing skirmish is loud, messy, and exactly what you'd expect from a team named The Expendables. The metallic clang of weapons dropping and the frantic shouts of the pirates provide a chaotic soundtrack to their efficient, albeit brutal, rescue operation. The hostages are secured, but the tension between Barney and Gunnar is palpable. A simmering fuse just waiting for the next spark. Mission accomplished. More or less, and the team scatters like shrapnel after a blast. Barney, needing a moment of relative peace and a new piece of permanent art, heads to Tool's tattoo parlor. Tool, played by the legendary Mickey Rourke, is the wise old sage of the group, a former mercenary with more stories than scars, and trust me, he has a lot of scars. The buzz of the tattoo gun provides a meditative hum as Barney unloads his concerns about Gunnar. It's clear that Gunnar's recent antics have crossed a line from quirky to actively endangering the mission and everyone on it. Tool offers his unique brand of cynical wisdom, reminding Barney that some people are just beyond fixing, especially when they're wrestling with internal demons stronger than any enemy they face in the field. The conversation is punctuated by the rhythmic thrum of the needle, a gritty backdrop to the heavy weight of Barney's leadership responsibilities. It's a quiet moment, but you can feel the gears turning in Barney's head. Next, Barney is summoned to a meeting in a surprisingly atmospheric, dimly lit church. No, it's not for Sunday service. It's for a very unholy proposition from a shadowy figure known only as Mr. Church, played by a very serious Bruce Willis. Church offers Barney a straightforward mission: assassinate General Garza, a dictator on the fictional island of Vilena. Simple, right? Except, lurking in the shadows is none other than Trench Mouser, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, another legendary merc. It's a delightful, if fleeting, clash of the titans, a who's got the bigger gun contest without actually pulling them out. Their exchange is brief but loaded with years of unspoken rivalry and a mutual respect that only develops after sharing a few dozen battlefields. The air practically crackles with testosterone. Church lays out the grim details, the low, conspiratorial murmur of his voice contrasting with the holy setting, making it clear this isn't a job for the faint of heart or the easily squeamish. It's a paycheck, but one that comes with a very high body count. Barney and Christmas, ever the dynamic duo, head off to Vilena for a little sightseeing, which in their world means covert reconnaissance. The island is a vibrant, dusty tapestry of poverty and oppression, the sounds of everyday life underscored by a pervasive sense of fear. They link up with Sandra, their contact, who immediately throws a wrench into their neatly packaged mission. Turns out, General Garza isn't the big bad wolf. He's just a puppet on strings, pulled by a rogue CIA agent named James Munroe, played with delightful villainy by Eric Roberts. Munroe is the real architect of chaos, backed by his hulking enforcer, Payne. The revelation hits Barney hard. This isn't just a political hit, it's a tangled web of international intrigue, and suddenly, the mission feels a whole lot dirtier. The clang of metal pots and the distant shouts of market vendors create a stark contrast to the grim reality unfolding before our heroes. The mission just got personal. Well, wouldn't you know it, their covert ops turn out to be about as subtle as a hand grenade in a library. Munroe's goons, with Payne at the forefront, quickly stumble upon our heroes, igniting a furious firefight. The distinct crack of rifle fire and the thud of bodies hitting the ground become the main rhythm of the scene. Barney and Christmas are in their element, a whirlwind of fists, feet, and precision gunplay. But this isn't just about survival. It's about seeing the true extent of Munroe's iron grip. Payne is a force of nature, a silent, deadly machine whose every move carries a chilling weight. The whoosh of a close-quarters punch and the metallic clang of a dropped weapon underscore the raw, visceral combat. With Sandra's unexpected help, they make a daring escape, leaping from a window, the impact of their landing jarring but necessary. The air is thick with the scent of gunpowder and the bitter taste of a mission gone sideways. Barney leaves Sandra behind, a decision that clearly weighs heavily on him. Knowing he's essentially abandoning her to Munroe's tyranny, haunted by Sandra's plea and the unsettling truth about Vilena, Barney makes a rare, human decision. He aborts the mission. No dictator, no paycheck, no more innocent casualties on his conscience. He returns to Tool, carrying the heavy burden of his choice. The gentle clink of tool polishing a blade provides a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside Barney. Tool, with his weary wisdom, reminds Barney that we are the shadows, a harsh truth that their job often demands sacrificing the few to protect the many. His words aren't comforting, but they're honest, a cold splash of reality. He talks about a woman he let die, the deafening silence after an explosion that claimed her life, a haunting memory that underscores the brutal cost of their profession. It's a moment of quiet introspection, a rare pause in the relentless action, allowing the audience to feel the emotional toll of this mercenary life. Barney's face is a canvas of moral struggle, his usual stoicism momentarily cracking under the pressure. Meanwhile, Gunner, stewing in his own bitter juices after being sidelined, decides to cash in on a bounty Munroe put on Yin Yang because, apparently, Nothing says team player like trying to kill your colleague for a quick buck. This leads to a brutal, close-quarters brawl in a dimly lit warehouse, the metallic clang of pipes and the grunts of exertion echoing through the space. Gunner's movements are wild, desperate, a clear manifestation of his fractured mind. Yin-Yang, despite his smaller stature, is a whirlwind of martial arts, the whoosh of his kicks and the sharp crack of his punches cutting through the air. Barney, always one step ahead, swoops in just in time to prevent a fatal blow, though Yin-Yang still takes a nasty hit. The ensuing confrontation between Barney and Gunner is raw and personal. Barney, with cold efficiency, reminds Gunner that there are lines you just don't cross. Even for Expendables, the thud of Gunner hitting the ground after Barney's decisive action signals the end of his run with the team, at least for now. It's a harsh lesson in loyalty, delivered with a punch, just when Barney thought he could forget about Vilena and its troubles. Sandra, a woman of remarkable courage, tracks him down in the bustling, jazz-filled streets of New Orleans. The lively sounds of street musicians and distant chatter are abruptly cut by the urgency in her voice as she confronts him, her eyes burning with a desperate plea. She describes the unspeakable atrocities being committed by Munroe's regime, the suffering of her people, and the utter hopelessness she feels. Her words paint a vivid, horrifying picture that no amount of cynical detachment can ignore. You can almost feel the weight of her desperation, the tremor in her voice as she recounts the horrors. This isn't just about a mission anymore. It's about a humanitarian crisis. Barney, despite his hardened exterior, is visibly moved. The initial clang of his resolve to stay out of it begins to waver. Her raw honesty chips away at his carefully constructed emotional walls, reminding him of the moral compass he still possesses, however buried it may be. The decision to go back seems inevitable, less about a contract and more about conscience. The weight of Sandra's words, the echo of her desperation, proves too much for Barney's conscience. He makes the decision, a quiet, resolute one, to return to Vilena. This time, it's not for a paycheck or a shadowy handler. It's for justice. He prepares to go alone, a testament to his unwavering commitment and perhaps a subtle act of penance for leaving her before. The lapping sounds of water against the dock pilings mirror the quiet storm within him. There's no grand announcement, no heroic declaration, just the grim determination etched onto his face. He's not just a mercenary anymore. He's a man driven by a moral imperative, ready to face an entire army with just his skills and his resolve. It's a moment of classic action hero stoicism, the kind where you know the guy is about to do something ridiculously dangerous, and you're absolutely here for it. The quiet hum of his preparation suggests a warrior readying for a final, decisive battle, alone against a seemingly insurmountable tide, just as Barney is about to embark on his solo, ridiculously dangerous suicide mission. Because of course he is, the rest of the gang shows up. Lee Christmas, ever the loyal second-in-command, is the first to arrive, a smirk playing on his lips. Then come Toll Road and Hail Caesar, ready to blow things up and look generally awesome while doing it. Even a recovering Yin-Yang, still nursing his injuries from the Gunner incident, isn't about to let Barney have all the fun. It's a classic we're a family, stupid moment, proving that while they might bicker and betray each other sometimes, when the chips are down, these guys have each other's backs. The roar of the plane engines signals their collective resolve, a cacophony of impending destruction. The exchange is minimal, because what more needs to be said when a team of highly trained killers decides to go rescue an entire island? The palpable shift from a solo venture to a full-blown team assault is exhilarating. The camaraderie is thick enough to cut with one of Christmas's knives. A comforting warmth before the cold reality of battle. Under the cloak of a moonless night, the Expendables plane screams across the Vilena coastline, a predatory shadow against the dark waters. It's a breathtakingly audacious approach, low and fast, designed to avoid radar and give Munroe's forces zero warning. The deep rumble of the engines is the only sound, a harbinger of the chaos to come. They execute a textbook infiltration, silent and deadly, each movement a testament to their years of honed expertise. The subtle crunch of boots on sand, the whisper of gear These are the only sounds as they move through the jungle. They're a well-oiled machine, each man knowing his role, preparing for the symphony of destruction they're about to unleash. This isn't just a mission, it's a statement, a promise to an oppressed people that help has arrived, albeit in the most violently effective way possible. The tension is thick, a palpable hum of anticipation before the storm breaks. It's the calm before the very loud, very explosion-filled storm, and then all hell breaks loose. The quiet infiltration gives way to a deafening roar as the first explosive charges detonate, tearing through Munroe's perimeter defenses like wet tissue paper. It's a glorious, concussive symphony of destruction, designed to shock and awe, and mostly just to blow stuff up. The air is immediately thick with the smell of gunpowder and burning debris. A hail of automatic gunfire erupts from every direction, the distinct crackle of bullets whizzing past their heads. Our heroes, predictably, are absolutely in their element. Barney is a force of nature, moving with brutal efficiency, his shots always finding their mark. Christmas, with his signature throwing knives, becomes a deadly blur, the whoosh of his blades followed by the sickening thud of impact. Toll Road and Hail Caesar unleash a torrent of high-caliber firepower, turning Munroe's compound into a very bad day for anyone wearing a uniform. It's an unrelenting, visceral ballet of violence, each punch, kick, and gunshot meticulously choreographed to deliver maximum impact. In the midst of this glorious mayhem, General Garza, who up until now has been Munroe's sniveling puppet, finally gets a spine. Watching Munroe's utter disregard for human life and, more importantly, seeing his own daughter Sandra in mortal danger, something snaps. It's a classic I might be a bad guy, but I'm not that bad moment. With a guttural roar, Garza orders his own loyal soldiers to turn their weapons on Munroe's men. Suddenly, the battle escalates from a two-sided affair to a chaotic, glorious free-for-all, a three-ring circus of explosions and bullets. The air is thick with the shouts of confused soldiers, the clang of shifting allegiances, and the constant, deafening soundtrack of a war zone. It's a fantastic twist, adding another layer of unpredictable chaos to an already bonkers situation. The whoosh of incoming fire from multiple directions makes everyone a target, forcing our heroes to adapt on the fly. You can practically taste the dust and the fear in the air. No action movie is complete without the big boss fight. And Barney delivers with a brutal, visceral showdown against Munroe's hulking enforcer. Pain, this isn't a graceful martial arts ballet. This is two immovable objects slamming into each other. The crack of bone, the thud of bodies hitting concrete, and the grunt of exertion are the dominant sounds. Pain is a relentless, almost monstrous opponent, absorbing blows that would put lesser men down for good. Barney, fueled by righteous anger and years of combat experience, unleashes a barrage of devastating punches and kicks. The metallic clang of a pipe used as a makeshift weapon, the shattering of glass as they crash through windows, every impact feels real, carrying immense weight. It's a true test of strength and endurance, a desperate, gritty brawl where neither man is willing to back down. The whoosh of a powerful swing narrowly missing its target adds to the tension, each fighter pushing the other to their absolute limit. It's a spectacle of raw, unadulterated power. While Barney is getting his face rearranged by pain, Lee Christmas, ever the agile assassin, has his own deadly dance going on. After a brief, almost comical skirmish with Pain, where he quickly realizes this behemoth isn't for him, Christmas turns his attention to the countless other goons flooding the compound. This is where Christmas truly shines, transforming into a whirlwind of precision and lethal grace. The whoosh of his expertly thrown knives is practically a leitmotif, followed by the sickening thud of their impact. He doesn't just throw them, he places them with surgical accuracy, taking down multiple targets with effortless speed. The clang of discarded weapons and the cries of the falling soldiers create a rhythmic, deadly symphony. It's a ballet of blades, a masterclass in controlled chaos, proving that sometimes the most effective weapon isn't the biggest, but the one wielded with absolute mastery. You almost feel sorry for the poor schmucks who thought they could take him on in a knife fight, almost, not to be outdone. Yin Yang, despite his earlier injury, proves why he's an indispensable part of the team. He's a blur of acrobatic kicks and lightning-fast punches, taking down multiple soldiers with a graceful, almost artistic brutality. The sharp crack of his strikes and the grunt of his opponents echo through the fray. He's less about brute force and more about precision and speed, making him a terrifyingly efficient combatant. Meanwhile, Toll Road and Hail Caesar are doing what they do best, making things go boom. The deafening roar of their carefully placed charges rocks the compound, sending debris flying and creating crucial diversions. The concussive force of the explosions is almost tangible, rattling your teeth. The clang of falling masonry and the shouts of the enemy soldiers as they scramble for cover provide the soundtrack to their destructive efficiency. It's a coordinated assault, a beautiful mess of martial arts and demolition, proving that this team truly is greater than the sum of its explosively talented parts, with the compound engulfed in glorious, beautiful chaos. Barney's focus remains laser-sharp on his true mission, Sandra. Cutting through the throngs of panicked soldiers, he pushes forward, a man possessed. The rapid-fire crackle of his automatic rifle provides a grim percussive beat to his advance, each bullet finding its mark. He reaches Sandra, who is understandably terrified but incredibly resilient, pulling her to relative safety with a powerful, reassuring grip. It's a brief, poignant moment amidst the storm, a quiet confirmation of his commitment. The loud thud of an explosion nearby reminds them that safety is a temporary state in this particular zip code. He makes a silent promise with his eyes, a promise that he's not leaving her again. The urgency in his voice as he shouts instructions, barely audible over the din of battle, underscores the perilous situation they are still very much in. This entire operation, for him, boils down to this one person. Just when you think things can't get any wilder, a familiar, albeit previously disgraced, face pops up. It's Gunner, and he's back, sporting a surprisingly jaunty new bandana, ready to swing into action. He makes a dramatic entrance, saving Yin Yang from an ambush, turning what could have been a fatal blow into a moment of unexpected redemption. The sharp crack of his rifle and the sheer force of his presence instantly shift the tide in that particular skirmish. His wild, unhinged energy is now channeled, almost, into something resembling teamwork. It's a classic I'm a jerk, but I'm your jerk moment, proving that even the most volatile members of a chosen family can find their way back. The cheers from the other Expendables, almost swallowed by the general din of war, are a clear sign of his acceptance back into the fold. The deafening roar of his weapon as he unleashes hell on their enemies is a welcome sound. A chaotic chorus of forgiveness, with his forces crumbling around him and his entire evil enterprise collapsing. James Munroe, ever the coward, decides it's time to hightail it out of Dodge. He makes a desperate dash for his private plane, a shiny symbol of his ill-gotten gains, now merely a getaway vehicle. The frantic shouts of his remaining loyalists, trying to clear a path, are drowned out by the relentless pursuit of the Expendables. Barney and Christmas, a blur of focused vengeance, are hot on his heels, determined to ensure this corrupt puppet master doesn't get a second act. The roar of the plane's engines powering up creates a terrifying sense of urgency, a race against time, and an impending explosion of justice. The clang of the aircraft's landing gear retracting signals his imminent departure, making their pursuit even more frantic. It's a classic villain's exit, fraught with panicked desperation, but our heroes are having none of it. They're not about to let him fly off into the sunset. In a climactic, frankly poetic display of what goes up must come down. Barney and Christmas manage to get onto Munroe's plane just before takeoff. It's a scramble, a final, brutal showdown in the cramped confines of the aircraft. The whoosh of a final desperate struggle, the sharp crack of a decisive blow, and then an explosion. Not just any explosion, but a glorious, spectacular fireball that engulfs the entire plane, sending it plummeting into the sea below. It's a truly satisfying visual, a literal mic drop for Munroe's reign of terror. The deafening roar of the explosion, followed by the metallic clang of shrapnel hitting the water, is the final, definitive punctuation mark on his miserable existence. There's no ambiguity, no chance of him returning for a sequel. just a fiery, concussive end to his villainy. The cheers of the islanders, still distant but audible, provide a celebratory soundtrack to the obliteration, a collective sigh of relief for a nightmare finally over, with Munroe's fiery demise complete and justice, in its most explosive form, served. The Expendables prepared to leave Vilena. The island, though scarred, breathes a collective sigh of relief, the sounds of celebration slowly replacing the echoes of war. Barney shares a final, surprisingly tender goodbye with Sandra. She chooses to stay, not to mourn, but to help rebuild her country, a testament to her unwavering spirit. Her voice, no longer laced with desperation, carries the strength of a new future. It's a quiet, poignant moment amidst the lingering scent of gunpowder and triumph. You can almost feel the weight of their unspoken understanding, a bond forged in fire and shared purpose. There's a hopeful ring to her voice, a sense of empowerment that was missing before. For once, these mercenaries haven't just taken a paycheck. They've left something genuinely good in their wake. The roar of their departing plane marks not an escape, but a transition, leaving behind a fledgling hope. Back on home turf, the Expendables do what they do best after a job well done: celebrate in their own gloriously boisterous way. The clinking of glasses and the raucous laughter fill the air, a stark contrast to the explosions and gunfire they just left behind. Lee Christmas, ever the showman, demonstrates his unparalleled knife-throwing skills, the whoosh of the blades followed by the satisfying thud of them hitting the bullseye every single time. It's a visual representation of their continued precision, even when letting loose. There's a subtle, almost unspoken understanding in their glances, a silent acknowledgement of the bonds forged in countless battles. It's a reminder that for these guys, the adrenaline rush is as much a part of their lives as breathing. The constant hum of impending action, the allure of the next impossible mission, it's all there, bubbling beneath the surface of their celebration. They are, after all, the Expendables, forever drawn to the fray, always ready for the next adventure, no matter how ridiculously dangerous. And so, our band of not-so-merry, but undeniably effective mercenaries ride off into the metaphorical sunset on their bikes. The rumble of their engines a powerful, unwavering beat. It's a perfect visual metaphor for their lives, always moving, always ready for the next impossible job, the next explosion, the next opportunity to deliver justice with extreme prejudice. They embody a particular kind of heroism, one that's gritty, imperfect, and sometimes a little morally ambiguous, but always effective. They remind us that even in a world riddled with complexity, sometimes you just need a straightforward, well-placed punch to set things right. Their journey isn't just about the missions they undertake, but the unbreakable brotherhood they forge, a testament to loyalty in the face of relentless danger. Before you go, remember that sometimes the greatest strength lies not in avoiding the fight, but in facing it head-on, with a few good friends and a whole lot of firepower. Stay awesome, folks!